Today, I'll be baking a very spooky bread. Actually, it's a French sourdough bread with a Halloween-themed decoration. Can you believe you can make this from just this? Let's check it out. So for the dough, we'll need a starter. I make the starter in the morning so I can mix the dough in the afternoon, which works best for me. I take 40 grams of water, add 20 grams of starter and mix. Then I add 40 grams of bread flour and mix well. I cover it and let it sit at room temperature, 23 to 25 degrees Celsius, for about 5 to 6 hours, until the starter reaches its peak and doubles or triples in volume. I pour 210 grams of water into a bowl and add 300 grams of bread flour. I mix well. Cover it and let it rest for 30 minutes for autolyze. During autolyze, the flour absorbs water and hydrates, which is great for gluten development. After 30 minutes, I transfer the dough to the mixer bowl. And add 60 grams of the starter. I mix on low speed for 3 to 4 minutes. Then add 15 grams of sugar and mix for a couple of minutes. Then I add 6 grams of salt and mix on low speed for 3 to 4 more minutes. I add 16 grams of butter and mix for an additional 7 to 8 minutes. The dough should come together nicely. I continue developing the gluten by doing stretches and folds during warm fermentation. I transfer the dough to a bowl, cover it, and let it rest for 30 minutes at room temperature, 23 to 25 degrees Celsius. After 30 minutes, I wet my hands and do the first stretch and fold. The dough is still sticky and not fully formed. I cover the bowl and let it rest for another 30 minutes. I wet my hands again and do a second stretch and fold. The dough has become more elastic and is easier to work with. I cover the bowl and let it rest for another 30 minutes. As we can see, the dough has started to rise and bubbles are forming. I do a third stretch and fold. Cover the bowl and let it rest for 45 minutes. Next, I do a fourth stretch and fold and leave it for 40 minutes. After 30 minutes, we should see bubbles on the dough's surface, and it should have increased in volume and become lighter. Now it's time for pre-shaping. I dust the work surface with flour, place the dough on it, flip it, and shape it into a ball. I cover it and let it rest for 30 minutes. Now for the final shaping. I dust the dough with flour and use a dough scraper to flip it onto the work surface. I fold the dough as shown in the video and shape it into a smooth taut roll. I place the roll seam side up in a prepared proofing basket. I cover it and leave it to rise in the fridge for 10 to 12 hours. The next morning, I'll be baking my bread. I want to add some Halloween decor, so I have my plotter and stencils ready. It's important that the oven is well preheated. I place an iron baking sheet or stone, a deep pan, and a thermometer in the oven. I preheat the oven to 250 degrees Celsius for at least 30 to 40 minutes. Now for the fun part, decorating. This time, I'll be decorating the dough with spooky pumpkins and bats. When the oven is hot, I take the dough out of the fridge, flip it onto a piece of parchment paper, and spray the surface with water. I arrange the pumpkins as I like. Dust generously with flour and carefully remove the stencils. Then I score the dough with a scoring knife. I carefully transfer the dough to the hot oven and cover it with the pan. This creates steam for a beautiful crumb. I bake for the first 15 minutes at 250 degrees Celsius. Then lower the temperature to 230 degrees Celsius, remove the pan, and bake for another 15 minutes until golden brown. I take the bread out, place it on a wire rack, and let it cool for 1 to 2 hours. It's time to see what's inside. We cut into our delicious, beautiful, and healthy bread and enjoy. Thank you for watching. I'd love it if you subscribe and give it a like. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.